What's up? Brandon Lilly here. From here on out, I'm going to be answering one question a day. You can submit those questions to lillytraining@yahoo.com. That's Lilly training@yahoo.com. The first question I got is fairly common. I get it a lot, especially when newer lifters are coming into the sport. They ask me, what do I do when I'm struggling with one lift? Like a lift is stalled for a while. What do you suggest? Well, the nature of the sport of powerlifting kind of messes with the mind a little bit in that it's performance based. Everything is based around lifting more weight, more weight, more weight, more weight. And I think specifically because of a lot of methodology that's out there, we've kind of been brainwashed to think that the only PRs that matter are singles. So one of the things that I talked about specifically in the cube method, and one of the ideologies that I believe in myself and that I try to ingrain into my clients, is all kinds of PRs. For example, one of my favorite PRs is using the same weight for the same amount of reps. You ask, how can that be a PR? Well, if you use let's say on the squat, you squat 400 pounds and you get the first rep, it's clean. The second rep is a grinder. Well, if you come back to it 3 weeks later and you're not necessarily confident enough to try 405, but if you go back and you hit 400 and you do both reps cleanly, have you not gotten stronger? Or have you not, maybe honed your technique a little bit? That's one of the other things that I really try to impress upon lifters also. You'll go to a meet, you're feeling really good, everything's pumped up. You get your first lift, great, 3 whites. Get your second lift, it's kind of a struggle. You get 2 whites or something like that, maybe even 3 lights, but it's a hard lift. And then you go into your third, and it's just kind of a long shot lift that you happen to get just because your emotions are high, the stars align, and everything falls into place, but your technique fell to hell. What a lot of people make the mistake of doing is they'll adjust their training to that new max. Why is that wrong? Well, it's wrong for a few reasons, but the number one reason is because the lift was done without proper technique. So how do you expect to go higher than that with proper technique if it was achieved with improper technique? So what I tell the lifter to do, usually, my suggestion, is to go off the best lift of the meet. So if your second lift was a clean lift, it was a struggle, but it was a good technical lift, that should be your PR that you base your training off of, even if you went higher and got the lift. Or let's say you make a big jump. Most of the time I'm conservative and I like to make smaller jumps. Well, let's say you made a 50-pound jump from your second to your third. That's kind of a big margin, but let's say you got the third and things fell apart and your second looked pretty good. Maybe split the difference. Don't necessarily go as high as you went and use that PR for your training numbers. I think that's just a really simple way to keep your technique in check and to keep the lifts moving forward. The other thing that I like to do is just rep work. Hit rep PRs, hit time PRs. That's something that we used to do a lot of when I trained with Chuck Vogelpohl, was we would just take a weight and get as many reps as we could in a certain amount of time. How many times can you press these 75-pound dumbbells in a minute? You just go and go and go and go and go. And then that gives you a point of reference that you can come back to without having to go to that 1 rep max that, is elusive, for you for whatever reason. So, the thing is, we're trained when we start missing weights or we start chasing weights, we lose confidence. And confidence is everything in powerlifting. And one of the things that Dave Hoff told me that was really profound, and it stuck with me, and I think it's one of the things that made him a great lifter, or make him a great lifter, and have helped make me a better lifter, is you never miss weight. So if you go into a meet and you haven't missed a weight for a training cycle or 2 training cycles or whatever, how are you gonna feel getting under the bar at the meet? You're not gonna know failure. You're gonna understand that if you've prepared properly, these weights that you put on the bar at the meet should come as expected. So one of the things that I like to emphasize, again with the cube method, but it's also popular with other methods, is saving that big PR for the meet. PRs come, and I tell people to take them if they're absolutely confident that they'll get them, but don't PR chase in their training. You make a plan, you stick to it, and you hurt feelings. That's one of the things I've always said. You don't get rewards, you don't get in the record books for training PRs. you get in the books and you get in the record books, or you get awards and in the record books for what you do on meet day. So if you take that PR 3 weeks out from the meet, but that holds you back at your meet, what was it worth? So what I like to tell people to do, or kind of the training philosophy that I've instilled, is early on in the cycle, say 10, 12 weeks out, we're doing 8s and 6s for our reps. As we get closer to the meet, we're doing 4s and 3s. And then as you get down to the last few weeks, we're doing heavy doubles. So really, you're building your body up, you're building the musculature up early on, and then you're building the power phase as you move towards the meet. Everything is going in a forward motion. And then at the meet day, you have a chance to hit the PR. Now, what does that do for your confidence? Well, let's say early on, and I'm just going to use the cube method for example, one of the things that I really like about it is that from week 1 to week 10, your speed day is light, and by week 10, you're actually doing speed work with what you started your rep work with as far as percentage goes. Week 1 with your rep weight is light, and then by week 10, you're doing reps with what you started your heavy work with. And week 1 with your heavy work is 90%, and by week 10, you're at 105 to 110% of your starting weight. So when you go into the meet, you've gone through these phases and everything has gotten faster and stronger and built explosiveness. So by the time you step on the platform, you know without a doubt that you've doubled almost your previous PR. So for example, if 400 was your PR, you've now doubled that. So now we're going into the meet and you're only going to be taking like 405 or 410 on a second to set a small PR, and then going on to a third of maybe 420, 425. So you should have supreme confidence by the time the meet rolls around because of the way you've prepared. You have to set up your training that makes sense and has order. Tons and tons of methods are out there. They're all really good. I'm not trying to sell you on the cube method. It's just what I believe in. The West Side method is proven. 5-3-1, Juggernaut, Lift, Run, Bang, Renaissance Periodization, 10-20 Life by Brian Carroll. All these methods have a place and they have a purpose, but you have to figure out what works for you and apply it. Now, as far as moving forward, whenever you hit a PR in the gym, you know, that's one of the things that I think is most important for a lifter's confidence is you need to set small PRs. Don't try to, you know, that's what 2.5s, 5s, and 10s are for when you're going up in weight. I see so many guys make the mistake of going quarter plate, quarter plate, quarter plate. You miss so many numbers in there. And once you hit your PR, walk away. You far more achieve by walking away and saying, damn, I could have done more, than trying to go up and missing the next weight. Confidence is everything. So if you've really been stuck on a weight, the best thing you can do is work around that weight. Lower the weights down, get stronger with reps, get faster with the same kind of weights that you've been using, and learn to be explosive and build confidence in yourself. Confidence, confidence, confidence. And when you get to the meet and you come back to that, or you come back to that PR if you're a non-competitive lifter, whenever you come back to that weight that's haunted you for so long, by building yourself back up and building that confidence in yourself, you'll smoke the weight every time. So thank you very much. Send me those questions to lillytraining@yahoo.com. I'll see you guys tomorrow.